Rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Jim Wells County Commissioners Court for today, September 27, 2024. It's now in session. Public testimony. Is there anybody in the public that would like to address the court at this time?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just want to let you know that we're in full operation in our county jail. One of our cells is being worked on. The generator is 100% with the equipment that was placed on it. It is full operation. Again, we do have a relationship with the Hebronville Sheriff's Department, and we have inmates over there that are being housed. I want to thank St. Elizabeth this morning for hosting the law enforcement Blue Mass. Some of the officers were over there. We were all out there this morning. So, again, I know you have a long agenda, but I also want to thank the commissioners for allowing us to do the remodeling of our office, of course, through the ARP money. So that is almost 90% completion. We also have sent our letter to the Operation Lone Star to Sheriff Benny and the surrounding sheriffs so that we can be a member of the board of the OLS, which is a federal grant, state grant that is being utilized throughout the state for operations. This week we had $138,000 that were confiscated through our interdiction program that we have in place. So that's what we have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sheriff.
Anybody else like to address the court at this time? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 5, consent agenda items will be voted upon in one vote and will not be discussed separately unless requested by the county judge, commissioner, or a citizen.
Judge, Commissioners Court, I've looked over the request. I have one change in the second budget request where it says $600 from 12,569,427.00. It should be from 12,569,390.00 miscellaneous supplies.
Motion to approve with corrections.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. We have an extra item there after the end of the consent agenda. After equipment, it says discuss, consider, and take action. That should not be there. There was a problem with our system. Do we need to just make a motion to strike? Does it need to be included, Mr. Guerra?
Is that about the bullet resistant shield grant?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, just so the motion would be to approve all items except for, I believe that's already been approved anyway, wasn't it?
It's coming up now.
Or is that a separate?
I think it's gonna be coming up.
Approving the
It's not
resolution.
a separate one. I think it was just left off.
It was approved in a resolution.
That, because it was copied, we copied and pasted
From a different
from a
meeting?
different.
So
yes,
this grant's
we
already
took
been,
it. So
this
that-
grant's already been approved?
Yes, that's already
Okay.
done.
Okay, so it's just surplus language, Judge, you just, you can, if you, just for the record, you want to put on that the motion is to approve all items on the consent agenda except for the item dealing with the bullet-resistant shield grant program.
Okay, we'll do that. I have a motion, I have a second to approve agenda item number 5 with the exception of the portion that says to discuss, consider, and take action approving a resolution allowing the Jim Wells County Sheriff's Office to apply and accept the bullet resistant shield grant number 4647602, program FY 2025, in the amount of $115,111.80. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 6, presentation on AWS cloud storage for data disaster recovery by Amazon AWS BizCloud.
Good morning. How are you all? My name is Jeff Model. I'm the VP of Sales for BizCloud Experts. We are actually an advanced tier partner for AWS. And what that means is we're really just a preferred partner that can leverage Amazon funding programs and other tools to help IT departments across the country leverage AWS tools to build a safer, more secure environment for their organization and their IT infrastructure. I'm going to go ahead and say I need to be able to share a presentation real quick, if that's acceptable. I need access to do that.
Yes.
It's disabled at this point. I apologize. There we go. I don't think that's anything else. Okay, are y'all seeing my screen? I just want to make sure everybody's I'm on the right page here.
Yes.
Okay. So BizCloud Experts is actually owned and operated. It's a small business that is both minority and female owned. Nagesh Kunamnini is the president and CSO. His wife, Brahmara Kunamnini, who is not pictured, is the CEO of the organization, also runs HR as our financial controller. Then you've got myself as the VP of Sales and Marketing. You have Soma Bravan, who is one of the owning partners as well, and the COO. And Rupesh Kathapalli is our partner solutions architect, who helps actually design and create the systems that we'll be talking about. BizCloud, we've actually been in business since 2012. Our company, Nagesh, has been in the United States for a very long time, over 20 years. He's worked for EDS, Xerox, and several other very large organizations. He started BizCloud Experts as an IT service organization, just based on the fact that he has a skill set and wants to support the community that he's part of and help them be sponsored H-1B visas, things of that nature, and support them as an overall community. But he does live in Flower Mound, Texas, here in Dallas-Fort Worth. We're based out of Lewisville, Texas. We're part of the Texas ecosystem when it comes to IT services. And we service quite a few other organizations, everybody from Omni Logistics and Neiman Marcus Group, who are multi-billion-dollar private companies. We're also doing several proof of concepts, one with Little Elm and one with City of Allen for private 5G technology. And we are an AWS public sector partner. BizCloud's super partner powers, we are exceptionally qualified and skilled at doing a well-architected review, which is basically a review of your systems and security practices and other tools to set you up and give you a future roadmap for how to move to the cloud and navigate to a serverless existence to provide better security, better consistent availability, and obviously the area that we're going to be talking about today is disaster recovery. We're also a managed service provider for DevOps and automation, where we can build literally custom tools or help deploy tools and other systems that you guys are looking to integrate or change to. Serverless solutions and contact centers, when that's basically we can do everything from 911 contact centers to customer service, bill pay, org source solutions, other things of that nature, virtually and online through the AWS cloud solutions. Where BizCloud comes in, essentially our first step, and this is the ask today, after talking to Roberto, your IT administrator, the ask today is to get permission and hopefully approval to do an assessment and a well-architected review. This is a zero-cost opportunity for Jim Wells County because AWS actually funds the work that we do to come in and run this assessment. The purpose of this assessment is to gain an understanding of your existing IT infrastructure, what it looks like, all the different pieces that exist, and how to create the tool that we need for disaster recovery. It also generates a roadmap that's a perfect report of what a journey to a cloud-based existence for Jim Wells County, if they chose to go that route from an IT perspective in the future, would look like, including the total cost of ownership. All of the other aspects of it is part of this assessment that we do. Essentially, it gives us a full understanding of your entire IT infrastructure and ecosystem and helps us understand how it would look for you guys to migrate to the clouds, the benefits, and what protections would offer Jim Wells County as an organization. The well-architected review piece, it documents the decision that's being made. It provides recommendations for improving your workload based on best practices, and it gives you a guidance on making your workloads more reliable, more secure, more efficient, and cost-effective, especially in an environment in an area where potentially hurricanes can be a challenge, wildfires can be a challenge, other things can cause damage to your IT infrastructure. This cloud-based system gives you a reliable backup that no matter what, we can fire up and get to a critical mass or critical operating function, depending on the types of systems that we build based on your budget and your requirements and recommendations that are made by both us and AWS. To jump in, a lot of people have some sort of backup. So they have their personal computers and they have servers either on-prem or somewhere else that they've got that they call a backup system. And a backup is great for archiving historical data, for having systems in the background that you can refresh and bring back up, but it's not necessarily disaster recovery because there's usually a lot of time, effort, and work that it would take to get back to a running, functioning system in the event of a critical situation, power outages, fires, things of that nature that cause majorly important systems to fail within a county and a system. What we look at when we're developing these things, the backup is essentially just an archive data storage that stores all of your past documents, your historical data, all of the different aspects that you might need from a very, very big picture view. And a backup is usually generated once a week, once a month, maybe even once every quarter, 6 months, a year. That's how backups are generally built. With disaster recovery, which is what we're talking about and why we were hoping to do the assessment, disaster recovery is actually more about how do we get back up and running as fast as possible, have the functioning systems that we need to have functioning in the event of an emergency or a major collapse, malware attack, or otherwise, as quickly as possible. We look at things like RTO and RPO. RTO is recovery time objectives. RPO is recovery point objectives. And essentially, how fast you have to have some specific systems up and running is your recovery time objectives. Your recovery point objectives is more of a historical look. Does this need to be real-time disaster recovery? Does it need to be 24 hours disaster recovery, every other day, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually? What part of what system needs to be up to date to the minute versus once a week, once a month, etc.? When we do that, we figure out that aspect as part of the assessment and the review and the conversations that we need to have. Then we actually look at resource allocations and figure out what's the most cost-effective way to build out a disaster recovery that will meet your needs in the event of an emergency, a malware attack, or any other situation to keep you up and running and functional completely, while also finding the most cost-effective way to save money on every front possible, but not let you have a failure in a way that could cause damage to the Jim Wells County organization. So RPO versus RTO, and this is why it matters. So essentially, if you look at this screen and you see the green and low, if it can be 24 or more hours and it can be more than one day, then it's a low importance level, right? We can put it on something that is less expensive, doesn't run as fast, doesn't run as hot, and basically costs a lot more money. And as this matrix kind of moves north and west to that critical 1 minute, 10 minutes aspect, this is where we literally go through your entire system and IT infrastructure and go, okay, for our bill pay system, we actually need it to be here in this medium bucket. For our 911 critical call system or for our emergency access line during an emergency, we need this to be here in the critical aspect. And it lets us position different pieces of your database and your systems in the different types of servers and disaster recovery tools that we would need to leverage to create the right system to meet your needs versus just a disaster recovery that all falls in this critical bucket or all falls in this low bucket. This disaster recovery mindset is completely about what do we need now versus what can we have in a day or two or a week or a month. So when we think disaster recovery, pardon me, I'll go the other way. Oh. When we think disaster recovery, we have to think about active and passive. And we have the backup and restore, which we talked about. And basically, the lower priority use cases can be just backup. If it's literally just archive data that we can check every so often, it goes there. If we need it to be up in an hour or two, then we can look at a pilot light type of a system where the data can be live, services can be idle, all of those types of provisions that we review and investigate. We figure out what lives in each bucket. And then we go to a warm standby where you're looking at it's always running, but it's smaller workloads, which helps with cost. They are business critical, but it doesn't have to be real time immediate. And then it can scale as Jim Wells County grows. It's a little more expensive. And then you have the real time necessity. And again, in my mindset, the real time necessity are more of the emergency services, the emergency broadcasting, the types of things that you have to be able to have no matter what. If something were to happen and all power was completely lost in the county courthouse where the servers that you guys have exists, what's the backup plan? How do you send out those messages? How do you deal with an emergency outage of all of your data? In today's environment, it's going to be somebody just trying to crank out manual phone calls and do something to survive if you lost all access to that data and you don't have an emergency backup system in place, to my knowledge, based on conversations, that this would actually take care of an event of that nature. One of the most important use cases that I can bring up right now is there is a plethora of opportunities right now where malware has been introduced into public sector organizations. City of Dallas is probably the most prominent case that anybody has seen recently. They got hit with a malware attack and they were charging them millions of dollars to get their data back. City of Dallas ended up having to pay that. After they paid that, they actually worked with AWS and a partner like us to create a disaster recovery system. The exact same malware organization that took their money the first time hit them again and tried to hold them hostage. And Dallas was able to get their entirety of their system back up and running within less than 24 hours. And Dallas actually ended up pivoting and moving their entire IT infrastructure to AWS as a result of how functional that disaster recovery was in an emergency. Now, I'm under no illusion. I know Dallas County is a much bigger environment than Jim Wells County. I grew up in Upshur County myself. I'm a small town, rural Texas guy by nature. It's where I grew up and where I graduated high school. And this is kind of a step towards being a more modernized technological organization without having to give up your more foundational roots of small town country living and the ability to be more personal and more in touch and more just human in nature than just technology and business driven, but still have that security and that consistent understanding that if something does go awry, we have the tools, the technology and things in the background that will support us and take care of us in a time of emergency. So I bring this screen up. I talked about these a little bit. We are not a minor partner. We're not somebody who's just trying to get our legs. We are moving into the public sector because AWS has invited us in and said, we have a lot of organizations that fall in the quote unquote small business bucket for AWS, which is anything under $100 million of potential revenue for them that are in the public sector. And we have a lot of partners that want to work with the Dallases and the Houstons and the Austins and the New York cities, but they have very limited resource and partners like us that are interested in working with the smaller communities. And what that allows us to do is be a partner that can gain critical mass and service these smaller communities with the same high quality, high caliber resources. But we're also not that company that is out there charging $1 million a job. We're very flexible on pricing. We're very customer centric and customer oriented. And we really live to serve the communities that we're trying to help, whether it's our private customers, like the ones on the screen, or it's, Little Elm, it's City of Allen. We got into the private 5G space because we actually were the headline sponsor for one of City of Little Elm's main events in Little Elm, Texas. And they ended up having 25,000 people attend an event that they had organized for 10,000 people. Well, the entirety of the public network failed, and it really caused a lot of damage to the city's reputation and a lot of damage to relationships that the city had with food vendors and event vendors that would come and work the different events that they had in public. So BizCloud actually started trying to find a solution, and we came up with a private 5G offering to make sure that one, emergency services would survive with private 5G in place in the event that they had an influx of people that overcrowded their systems, and two, that they could guarantee consistent ability to take payments for their vendors at those different events. That happened last year. This year, we are actively running a POC and have installed hard equipment that we're managing for them. We are a solutions provider that works with our clients to solve problems that they actively have. So with that, I am done. I tried to go quickly. I hope I stayed within my time. Any questions or anything else that I can answer or anything of that nature?
Not on my part. Commissioners, do y'all have any questions? At this time, the agenda item is just a presentation. We appreciate your presentation. Thank you so much. If you can, please send me that information.
Yes, sir.
In future agenda items, future meetings, we can add a decision agenda to contract or not to contract. I'll just need some further information that I can discuss with you before we put that on the agenda. But we appreciate your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I will work with Roberto and we'll get that to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 7, presentation by trusted driver who serves the Jim Wells County Sheriff's Office and about 5 precincts to modernize and streamline their citation process.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Selena. I am with Trusted Driver, and it's not a presentation. I'm just asking for approval. So we've been working closely with Jim Wells County Sheriff's Office and all the precincts. They use our e-citation and it gets to the court through a portal. What I'm asking for is to onboard our new court features. And part of the new court features is a payment platform. Basically allowing motorists who drive through or just any motorist who receives a citation to pay directly online. This does not replace any existing platform that the county uses. This does not prevent the motorist from going to the court and paying. This is simply another option for the motorist to pay. And by doing so, we'd like to offer a revenue share to each precinct. So for every citation, we'd like to offer $1 to that precinct that the citation is tied to. This is at no cost to the courts or the county. We use a company called Stripe. They are a business that, they're businesses that use it globally. They accept credit cards, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Cash App, ACH. And this is huge only because a lot of drivers now go through their phone and they can pay directly using their iPhone, especially with Apple Pay. County sees the money much faster. In 2019, I took the stats off of TCO. The sheriff's office did 900 stops in 1 year. Since they've been using our platform, it's been almost 1 year and they've done 3,412 stops. There is the low cost of the convenience fee. That's where we can allow the revenue share. This accountability with the ticket, everything is tied to the citation. With the new court features, we have a messaging and document platform. So when a motorist receives a citation, a motorist can opt in to put their cell phone, and then the courts can, when they message back and forth, the motorist will receive a text notification saying that the clerk is trying to message you. And so it opens up this dialogue, and it tries to prevent the motorist from actually going to the court. If the court needs to send them a document, they can use the messaging platform and upload whatever document they need, whether it's a plea form or anything, and then vice versa. If the court needs anything, they can, the motorist can just do it all electronically now. We're just trying to save paper and be environmental friendly. We have a language translation on our platform. So we work closely with the OCA, Texas Appleseed, and Ideas 42. And their goal is to eliminate as many warrants that are out there. And by doing so, it's trying to make our e-citation as easy to understand. So when a motorist gets a citation and doesn't speak any English, their phone can translate. It translates up to 144 different languages, but specifically, it can translate everything into Spanish for those in that only speak Spanish. And that helps because a lot of times there's a language barrier that people don't even understand what to do with their ticket. The OCA is very interested with our messaging and the e-citation, and they're thinking about basically mandating this. We've been working with Megan Lavoie, and so if y'all on board, y'all will be one of the first in the nation to do this. As far as the actual payment that we're trying to onboard with Stripe, the designated admin, whoever is the account manager, would receive scheduled reports, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, however they want to manage it. And it's very flexible. It offers refunds if a motorist, wants the refund and it's allowed. Payment is immediate with our citation. So the motorist and the courts would receive a receipt immediately. Right now, if you want a testimonial, you can call Brooks County Precinct 1 is using it, Judge Garza, and that's it. If y'all have any questions, I can answer any questions.
So just be an option for the person receiving the ticket to be able to pay for it, right?
Yep, that's it.
And then nothing else.
Nothing else. We would, just to be very transparent, we would onboard our payment platform, and we would work closely with each precinct. One person from each precinct would represent. So right now, I have Judge Tapa with me. Precinct 5 is interested, and Precinct 3 with Judge Schmidt is interested. Those are the only two. We're not forcing it on the courts. If the other courts don't want it, we don't have to turn it on, but it would only be turned on for those who are willing to accept and use it.
And I'm not sure you mentioned it, but this is through contractual, and do we pay a certain amount to you?
No,
or-
nothing is, there's no cost. We've already renewed with the Jim Wells County Sheriff's Office. They are our customer. The courts, we don't charge the courts. The courts simply need access to gain that citation, and so we offer a court back office. It's just a portal. So right now, the clerks just log in and they see their citations, and that's how they process it through their CMS.
And if the offender, I'll call him offender, I shouldn't call him offender, but anybody getting a citation has an opportunity to give you their phone number, and you can start dialogue pretty much right then and there.
It's not just the phone number. They can opt in to put their phone number, but once through the portal, which is an online, like a website, there's a messaging. So it looks like an email, but everything is tied to that citation. So the offender can message, I just received a citation. What do I do? Can I get deferred? And then the clerk can write back. And so it's like a chat box, and they go back and forth. And everything is logged on the court side. And if the court clerk messaged back, that's when the text notification would appear. If the motorist opts in and says, yes, I'd like to receive a text notification, then they would get it through their text.
Very interesting, because I know sometimes people get citations and they don't know what to do, so this gives them an opportunity.
Now, this only works if they onboard this platform. So for example, Precinct 1, if they don't want it, the messaging and the documents, it's because right now it's in a lump sum, the payment platform and the messaging and documents. So it would only be allowed in Precinct 5 if they onboard.
Do you have a master agreement with a master agreement with the counties, or do you have individual agreements with each JV?
It's just with the sheriff's office, because the citation lands because they're the ones issuing the citation, and it just lands in each precinct.
Is there anything in that contract that allows you to go forward and do this? Or do you need commissioner's approval? Because the way it's worded on today's agenda, it's just a presentation, it's not an action item.
It technically was on the original contract saying that there was going to be a convenience fee, but because of the revenue share and you allowing this, if you accept this revenue share, that's why I'm asking for approval.
Okay, if you're gonna require approval, we'll have to do it again October 14th.
Oh, okay,
Because this wasn't worded as an action item.
okay.
But it sounds like a great plan.
Oh, okay,
And
I
if we
hope that
can
all the JPs
share,
can participate.
okay.
if we can get the contract, so we can look at the contract, we may not need Commissioners Court approval.
We're very pleased with the program, Judge, Commissioners. It worked very well. It's very convenient for the officers, and we're satisfied with it. So
Okay.
we have a good plan in that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 8. So agenda item number 8 and number 10, we're gonna move to the end of the Commissioners Court, so we can do the swearing in also, the new judge.
May I be excused till that time?
Yes, sir, you sure can. Agenda item number 9, discuss, consider, and take action to authorize County Judge Pedro P. Trevino Jr. To execute an earnest money contract for the purchase of property of Los Abriles Investment Limited, described as Jim Wells County Appraisal District, PID, number 111002980-000, commonly known as 601 East Main, Alice, Texas, 78332, and its associated parking area described as Jim Wells County Appraisal District, PID 1235500700000, located on the northeast corner of Main and Cameron Street in Alice, Texas. We're going to go into executive session, but before we do that, we do have a couple of members that were back in February or January. We assembled a committee that had some community members to do an assessment on a building that we very much need. We've outgrown the courthouse. It's gotten to the point where we may be violating some occupancy laws. But in order to address that issue, instead of addressing that issue on our own, we assembled a committee. We have 2 community members. We assessed the possibility of building our own facility, which right now the costs are outrageous, and we didn't want to put our constituents to bear the brunt of it, because we have to be very creative on how we do things right now. If we're going to put a burden on the general fund, we need to find a way to get some of that money back, or the money back in entirety. And I think with the decision to purchase a building and the negotiations that were made, I think we've come up with a plan. And I do have a couple of the members and maybe 1 or 2 elected officials that would like to address the court at this time. I don't know who wants to start. Okay.
Good morning. Judge Michael Garcia here to speak on agenda item number 9. Good morning, Honorable Court. I'm here this morning to speak on agenda item 9, which is for the Commissioners Court to authorize Judge Pedro Trevino to execute an earnest money contract for the purchase of a building. The Jim Wells County Courthouse is a historical courthouse that was designated by the Texas Historical Commission, built 114 years ago in 1910. The courthouse was expanded in 1948 by the addition of an east wing and a west wing. Since that last expansion 76 years ago, more departments have been created, resulting in the necessity to hire more employees. As this honorable court knows, every year at budget time, department heads are in this courtroom informing you of how busy their departments are and how they need more employees. 3 weeks ago, y'all went through it during budget hearings and you heard the same story. Consequently, though this necessity for employees represents growth and prosperity in the county, it places a significant burden on the infrastructure to support and sustain the daily operations required to meet these increasing demands. In my experience as court-at-law judge, we held court in this same courtroom 3 to 4 days each week. This courtroom would be filled with attorneys, litigants, and spectators, resulting in a hallway to be crowded with people standing around. Also, there is very limited space for attorneys to confer privately with their clients, very limited space for inmates to wait as their cases are being called, and no outside seating for any overflow attendees to sit and wait. This priority concern can no longer be ignored. Today is the day that the county stops ignoring the space issue and authorize County Judge Pedro Trevino to negotiate the purchase of a building that could become an annex to our courthouse. The property, as described in Agenda Item 9, is approximately the same size as our current courthouse, with adequate parking, solid infrastructure, and suitable space for the current needs of our county departments. From the outside looking in, it could be really easy to be critical of the committee's decision on this issue. However, be mindful of the fact that the committee took months and months to come to this decision, looking at various options around town, listening to stakeholders along the way, asking tough questions, and leaving no stone unturned along the way. I'm grateful to the entire committee, including community members Danny Haygood and Manuel Recio, who are here today, for taking time out of their busy schedules and being here this morning offering their full support. In conclusion, the needs of Jim Wells County departments and employees can no longer be overlooked. It's time to meet the space needs of every single department in order to achieve maximum efficiency and productivity. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Commissioners, I'm Carlos Garcia, District Attorney. I was on that committee as one of the elected officials. I did participate throughout. We had a lot of discussions. We reviewed a lot of information that was presented to us, as well as having walked through at the building that we're talking about. And I just want to reiterate what the judge has just stated on the record. This has been a need that has been growing for years. And, you know, this opportunity to finally address that, you know, one of the things I know every time I come in talking about some of the grants we've been able to get through my office, you know, one of the issues is we're getting resources, but we have no place to put some of those resources. You know, I can give you two examples. We have a protective order program that's grant funded now, but the protective order attorney and another attorney that handles juveniles and the secretary are all in one small office that they have to share. So the attorney has no privacy when they're dealing with clients. So that's one of the issues. And that same office is used to deal with the clients that come in trying to receive assistance on a protective order. Then our border prosecution unit, that has continued to grow. At one time, there's an office right next to the office we got in the basement for the protective order department that we have our BPU people in. Well, at one time I tried to fit 5 people in there. It was just too many. We got 4. 2 are attorneys, 2 are investigators, and then we have the legal assistants upstairs with us, so they're separated. I actually have another, well, 2 other positions, but 1 other position that I haven't been able to fill, and that'll be on another agenda item that later, but it ties into the space as well. And so I just wanted to come up to give a specific example. And I'm not the only one with these specific examples. Many departments within our jurisdiction, within our county, are having these same issues that we've just outgrown. As our community has gotten bigger, we've had more and more things that we have to do. Our sheriff's department, our jail, our prosecutors' offices, our probation departments, are pretty much everything that ties into, having more boots on the ground basically means everything else has to continue on, processing all of those things, and it takes more people, more space. So with that, as one of the committee members that was placed on this, I thank the whole Commissioners Court for listening to us. And, I know all the specifics will be in executive session, but if there's any questions that, I know I speak for myself, but the whole committee was wholeheartedly involved in trying to make the most out of all the information that we received and give the best, I guess, report that we could to Commissioners Court. So if there's any questions that you need answered that maybe, during your executive session, I'll be here. I know the rest of us that are here today to answer any questions. So with that, thank you all.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Michael Guerra, County Attorney. I just want to echo what Judge Garcia and the District Attorney have said and give you two more examples. I don't think Carlos mentioned Operation Lone Star, which is a grant that funds jointly some employees shared by Brooks County and Jim Wells County, and that's 3 additional employees. So the grants are great. And then the other example I wanted to give was our office. The county attorney's office was approved last year under Senate Bill 22, and I was able to hire 3 additional staff members. I was at 4, I went to 3. Once again, great. It's at no cost to the county, 0 county dollars on those 3 employees. But now I have a space issue, and I've actually had to move the case manager into my office. We moved his desk and everything into my office just to make room for these other employees. So just to echo, this is something the committee looked at for a few months. We had several meetings, probably 8 to 10 meetings over that time period, and looking for a solution to a problem that's been pressing for a long time. And hopefully you'll give it some good consideration here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was on the committee, myself and Mr. Haygood. My name is Manuel Recio. And I'd just like to say that in my business, managing money, or budgets rather, you have to discriminate between a want and a need. And in the preliminary meetings we had, there was a definite need. I appreciate the invitation to participate on the committee. Had a lot of insight on what you guys do with the county. And I think this is an awesome project in that the funding won't come from the majority of the funding will not come from the community. It will be through ARPA, and there's no need for a bond for this kind of deal. And I really appreciate how it was put together and structured in that the funds won't be pushed on a bond onto as far as constituents. It's going to be something that we can get some help on, a majority of the help. And the building itself is, it falls hand in hand with what we're doing here. It's just a good fit as far as my 2 cents worth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
My name is Danny Haygood. I was asked back in January by Judge Trevino to be on a committee to try to find out if we had a need for another building, and it was quickly established. As you can see, this room is packed. We don't have the room we need in this courthouse. But I'd like to go back to 1912 when this courthouse was originally, I think, finished, the population in Jim Wells County was 887 people. By 1920, we had 6,500 people in the county. If you stop right there, this courthouse was not built for the kind of population we have today, which is over 39,000 in the county. So it was built for some growth, but not the growth that we've had. And through our committee meetings, we have established a need for another building. And the building that we're looking at is in close proximity to the courthouse. So I don't have a lot to add that hadn't been said already, but we kindly ask you to consider this. It's a project, when you got people working in the basement over here, I mean, I've never worked in a basement. I like to look out the window. And you know, we're stacked on top of each other. I had a meeting with Carlos and his crew a couple months ago. Air conditioner was out that day, wasn't too pleasant. There's 4 of us in an 8x8 cubicle. It was a hot day. We were crammed in there. It's just time to move on, and kindly ask that y'all consider this purchase. We've done as much studying as we can do, and we feel like it'll be a good addition to our needs. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner, Sheriff Bueno, in addition to the OLS that our county attorney mentioned, we have 2 employees that are also stacked up in one of our offices there at the Jim Wells County Sheriff's Office, and that is, again, a grant from the state that we were able to obtain, so there's no space. My biggest concern is bringing inmates to the courthouse where we have 12 to 16 sometimes at a time, or at a time that is, and they have to stand in the hallway until the courts are ready to proceed. So there's a big concern about safety for our community, our citizens here at the courthouse. So definitely a step in the right direction, a new vision for the county and the city. So I was a member of the committee, and I'm very pleased to have had the opportunity to visit the location. And it's something new for our employees. So it's a step in the right direction. And I think the committee members have come up to the right decision to make it better for all of us. Not for a certain group, but for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. That being said, we're going to go into executive session, and I know we have a lot of people here for a celebration of our new judge. We're going to try to make it quick and swift for you guys. But at this time, it is 9:47. And we're going to go into executive session under section under 551.072, deliberations about real property.
Yeah. Got to.
Are we on?
I think I did. We're going.
Okay, we're back. At 9:47 a.m., Commissioners Court went to executive session under 551.072, deliberations about real property. It is now 10:11 a.m., and we're back to the regular court. Can I entertain a motion?
I make a motion to take action to authorize the county judge to execute an earnest money contract for the purchase of the property for Los Avriles Investments. After all the discussion we had with the committee, which we thank you for all the work that y'all did, and our executive, it's like something that we need and we need to move forward with.
Second motion. I have a motion, I have a second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'm an aye on that one too with my team here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the committee, and thank you for the community members. I know that in the future, when we have big decisions like this, we will continue to get the community involved as they should be. Thank you all very much. Agenda item number 10, discuss, consider, and take action. Okay, we'll skip that one just a second. Agenda item number 11, discuss, consider, and take action to approve and adopt sheriff and constable's fee schedule to be effective January 1st, 2025.
Judge, they have already turned in. We've gotten in contact with the constables and the sheriff's department, and they've given their revisions, and I believe they're attached. Well, can't open attachments. I don't know if you was,
It wasn't because it was.
it included in the?
The judge has the attachment.
Okay.
I have the attachment. Now,
Maybe we could just announce what changed.
yes,
if anything.
and are the changes are on asterisk? Is that what it is? The changes are on asterisk?
The changes are on the right-hand column.
Okay, okay. Oh, okay, now I understand it. With current fees and proposed fees. So going down the line for current fees, subpoenas are $90 currently. They're going to go up to $140. Summons, $90 up to $140. Writ of attachments, $200 up to $300. Writ of garnishments, $200 up to $300. Writ to susquisition, from $200 up to $300. Order of sales, $220 to $320. Writ of possessions, $200 to $300. Forcible detainer, $90 to $140. Service fees, small claims citations, $65 to $200. Justice court citations, $65 to $200. All other court citations, $65 to $200. Order of retrieval, $65 to $200. Any additional, $55 an hour to $75 an hour. Per deputy, after 2 hours per deputy. Okay, that's, let me read that again. An additional $55 an hour per deputy after 2 hours. That's increasing to $75 an hour. Other service fees, citations by posting, $40 up to $90. Personal citation, $90 up to personal, up to $140. Precepts, $90 to $140. Child support papers, $90 to $140. Writ of execution, $220 to $320. Writ of restitution, $220 to $320. Injunctions, $120 to $220. To $220. Temporary restitutions, 120 to 220.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 12, discuss, consider, and take action on approving remote work schedule for prosecutors. Wait a minute.
Commissioners, Carlos Garcia for the District Attorney's Office. This actually ties into that Operation Lone Star that we had discussed, in an earlier agenda item. Right now, I have, for almost the whole part of this year, 2024, I've been trying to fill a position for Operation Lone Star that I have. It's completely paid for out of the grant. The issue has come up that, I initially had it posted with the position posted with the Texas District and County Attorneys Association, and I had it up there for a few months. After I think either 2 months or 3 months, they end up requiring that you request to post it again. Well, this position pays $90,000 salary. It's about $114,000 when you add every year, all the benefits. The issue has been that initially, all of the people that were contacting my office interested in this position were all under the impression that this would be a remote position. Well, the reason they were under that impression is because pretty much every other jurisdiction that has an OLS department is working it that way. The reason they're working it that way is, I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of how this OLS is working, because we've got it running in Brooks County right now. They had been doing it in Jim Hogg before, and then they moved it into Brooks. And the way they have it set up is somebody who gets arrested on an OLS type case, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony level, they are arrested in the county where the crime took place, but then they're processed in an OLS processing center. Right now, the OLS processing center is located in Jim Hogg County. So they process them over there. If they're misdemeanor cases, the county attorneys in each of those jurisdictions that has OLS, they've actually gotten their own grant funds through the county that is paying for attorneys. That a lot of them, is what they're doing is they're hiring attorneys that are more contract type attorneys, so they're not employees of the county, and their grant allows them to do that. They also have funding that is helping their clerks' offices, that they have clerks that are being paid for out of that grant to do all of the clerk work. After they've been processed, everything comes back to the county where the case is going to be filed, and the inmates are generally held at a detention center that has been set up for these OLS type cases. Well, the judges that are handling all these cases are not our local judges. The judges that are handling these cases before they get on a felony, before they get indicted, are judges that have been hired by the Office of Court Administration. And so all of these judges are from all over the state of Texas. Some of them are from Austin, El Paso, Dallas, Houston, and they're conducting all of their hearings through Zoom. All of these cases are also not getting court-appointed attorneys that are local. There's monies that the governor's office has set aside for a public defender's office. And this public defender's office is being run under I believe it's the Lone Star Public Defender's Office. Well, they're handling, assigning all of the defense attorneys. Well, all of these defense attorneys are also from all over the state of Texas. So they're all going through Zoom. Well, prosecutors' offices are hiring these OLS prosecutors to handle all of these Zoom hearings. So that's why everybody that's been applying is under the impression that we can hire them as a remote type of case or remote type of position. Problem is, because our grant is administered through Jim Wells County, well, after the pandemic, there was a ruling, an order that, we wouldn't be able to do remote types of work schedules. Well, the issue is, like I said, I hadn't put out I reissued our job posting on August 28th. I had about 2 months where I didn't do it because there was some talk that maybe the governor's office could give our grant some extra money. Well, then on August 26th, we got a memo from our BPU executive director that basically said the governor's office has said there's not going to be any extra money. Because I was waiting to see, well, if I can't offer remote, if I get extra money, I could probably entice somebody by saying, well, look, it's not remote. You're going to have to come and work here. But, instead of 90,000, it's, 105,000 or, but once that money wasn't available, I reposted it with the same salary. I'm still getting people interested. I've got one person that is waiting to see what might happen today. He's working at another prosecutor's office. He's in the misdemeanor division, and I believe that's why he wants to move up into felonies. It's more money. That other jurisdiction has already sent him to what we call the baby prosecutor school. Pretty much a new prosecutor gets sent, and they have it twice a year, and they get a week's worth of training that pretty much gets a brand new attorney ready to deal with things they're going to deal with as a prosecutor. He's already done his training for Brady. He'd basically be ready to hit the ground running, but nobody that lives outside of our area, it's very hard to entice them to come to a rural community when they don't live in a rural community and they like the urban amenities. Now, everybody that I've talked to that has been interested in this position, I have let them know you're still going to have to come in. And they said, no, I don't mind traveling, a couple of times a week, but 5 days out of the week, that salary, basically it's all my salary is going to be eaten up on it. I might as well just stay where I'm at, at least I'm local. So that was one of the reasons. Now, I did put it as prosecutors. I didn't limit it to OLS only because I don't know what our system is going to be like in the future. I will tell you, the way my system is set up in my office, I know what my people are doing. It tracks their time. When they're not getting enough done, we can see it because we can go back and look at the system and find out how many cases did you touch today? And if, they only touched 3 or 4 cases, we can get them. So even on this one, we will know if this person's working remotely, we will know whether or not they're touching their cases. And it won't be that we find out later when, okay, they didn't have anything ready for, let's say, grand jury. We're going to find out, as it's happening that, wait a minute, he's not even logging in. Why hasn't he logged in? One of the other issues that we've had is generally Jim Wells is our, my district covers 2 counties. A lot of the cases are going to be coming out of Brooks right now because that's where DPS is sending their OLS resources right now. They have some brush teams that are now catching more people than they used to catch. Cases that we would maybe get one person on, now we're getting multiple people because those brush teams can actually follow through and are catching more of the individuals that before we knew there was so many because we could see it on the dash cam and we'd see all these individuals bail out. And so we knew there was 8 of them, but they only caught 1 or 2. Now they're catching at least half of them, and it's because there's more resources over there. Now, in Jim Wells County, we're going to see those numbers too, but it's probably going to be in the Fremont area and in that area because it's basically when they're going through a lot of these ranches. Now, some of them make it all the way down. We see all of the damage to, our property owners' fences. So, I mean, it does make it through the rest of the county too. But the boots on the ground are really right now on our southern part of our district. But eventually, they're going to move those resources north. They had been telling us they were going to move the OLS to Brooks for months. They finally did. And so we're seeing those numbers coming up now. But because of the way they're doing their cases, those judges are setting up their own dockets, their own settings, because they're not worried about, well, is there court going on in the district court today? They're not using the courtroom. So they're just setting up their dockets. So I do have our BPU attorneys that right now are handling it. The problem is we're going to have court settings where they're required to be in the district court, and we have these Zoom settings at the same time, and now we have a conflict. So basically, I'm trying to get ready and to be able to offer that, but I also wanted to let the Commissioners Court know, these individuals that prosecutors are all exempt employees, so they're not getting any kind of, compensation for extra time. Their pay is their compensation. And when they have court on a Monday and they didn't have time they're working here on weekends. I'd like to be able to let them work from their homes on weekends, which some of them are doing anyway, but when they're meeting with our victims on a weekend, they're coming in here to do it just because we have wanted to comply with what was ordered, but now it's what I'm asking for is a flexibility, but I also wanted the court to know we do have checks and balances already built into our system. And if there was, something that you needed, I know the sheriff comes in and every commissioner's court gives a report. I'd be happy to add that as something where I could come and give a report. If someone was authorized to do remote, I would come in and let the commissioner's court know. And so that if this needs to be revisited again, those are the things, but I do have somebody who, if this is approved today, I have somebody who could give their 2 weeks' notice at their current job, and we could already have this position filled. If not, I'm probably going to have this same situation until the end of the grant period. And any questions that Commissioners Court might have.
Any questions?
I think the exempt employee part covers it pretty much. It don't make a difference. People need to understand it. If you're not, you're an exempt employee, you don't have to be here at all times, but you don't have any overtime or any other thing, so it's a great plus there. I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 12 is presented, Judge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you all.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 13, discuss, consider, and take action to authorize the publishing for the request for proposals, RFP for project development, grant writing, and grant administration services for the Texas Department of Transportation, Texas Transportation Alternative Program, TAP.
Judge, that's one of my items, the ones for the sidewalks in Benbolt. TxDOT will not, they're not going to bring anybody else to oversee the projects anymore. They're so far behind. So they're going to go out for, RFPs to try to get an independent person to come in and oversee the project, which it'll help us out a lot more because it'll be able to get done a lot faster.
Okay,
And this is going to get paid through TxDOT. It has nothing to do with us. It's just going out for RFPs.
so the only question I have is, we're gonna have all these together?
No,
Project development,
that's just the TxDOT.
Huh?
That's just the sidewalks. It's just a project.
Yes, but like, we have project development, grant writer, and grant administrator, all in the same one?
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna look for somebody who does all those three?
Yes, sir.
In other words, an RFP, an administrator.
Yes, but no, what I'm saying is, we usually go for engineering, grant writing and then grant administration together. You understand what I'm saying?
But an engineering is an RFQ.
Yeah, engineering is an RFQ, yeah. I don't mean, if there's no problem, I'm okay with that, just,
Well, project development can be interpreted broadly. That doesn't include the construction and the engineering? No?
No, sir.
So, yeah, so then it's probably,
okay.
I guess project development is kind of saying, okay, after the grant has been awarded and, you know.
Follow it.
Yeah, to follow it and.
It's like what Grant Works do. They
Right,
administer,
right.
they
And when we run
manage
into
it.
bumps in the road, they advise us. The grant administration, on the other hand, is where you make your reports and say, okay, we've drawn down so much on this project at year to, date. And
Okay.
and send in the, so I think it probably could have done without that, but I don't think
It's an RFP.
Okay, and if there's any issues with it, we can bring it back, but
Yes, sir.
I'm okay with it.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have, let's see. I'm gonna go to number 16 first and then go down the line. I know that we had problems with that system, that it didn't let us these in orderly fashion. But I'm gonna go to the number 16, if we do that one first. Discuss, consider, and take actions to authorize the publishing of requests for statements for qualifications for architect and engineering for service for the HUD Pro Housing Program. This is yours?
Those are the ones that, yes, sir.
Okay, so, let me see, hold on real quick. This program, it's a HUD program that there is approximately 100 million in grant funds that are being made available by HUD. The maximum grant application is $7 million. Right now, in order to apply for that, we have to approve the RFQ to go to, for the architecture and engineering. You want to explain the project that you have, Wicho?
That was the one that we brought in, what was it, a couple of weeks ago?
Yes.
And it's gonna be able to, it's gonna have housing, it's gonna be for flood management,
Flood management and drainage,
drainage, and replacing of houses.
and I think the main focus is in the Bembolt area and
Yes,
Green
sir.
Acres.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Actually, it's gonna be all the way, pretty much the whole Jim County. Yeah, it's all Jim County.
It doesn't have anything to do with the applications that we just did? No?
No, it's a different one. The only issue I had with it is it's due October 15th, so it's due like pretty quick. So all these things have to happen like pretty quick for us to meet the application date. And I don't have a problem approving this today with
And of course,
inclination
this is
that.
the same one that was no cost to the county.
Right, right, so.
I make a motion to approve the RFQ for qualifications. Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The next three are all having to do with the same grant that we have to put in the agenda and we must complete before application. So number 14, discuss, consider, and take action to authorize publishing of a public hearing notice for the HUD Pro Housing Program.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 15, discuss, consider, and take action to authorize the publishing of request for proposals, RFP for management services for the HUD Pro Housing Program.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 17, discuss, consider, and take action to approve resolution to submit grant application under the HUD Pro Housing Program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye. All
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 18, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the auditor's monthly report.
Judge, Commissioners Court, the first monthly report I'm gonna go through is just the payables and the revenues, is for the month ending August 31st. On the revenues for the general fund, we have collected 89%. Everybody with all the funds together, we have collected 89% of what our revenue was predicted. Our expenditures, everyone is listed there. If for some reason you're over the 67%, we can go ahead and talk about it. Usually we know why y'all are over it, but your percentage is there. If you're over the 67%, let us go over it. Overall, for all of the expenditures, we're at 66% total expenditures out of the budget for 30,489,2417. We actually spent 20,009,772.05, 66%. Our projection at this time should be 67, so we're 1% positive. The next one I want to read out is the sales tax.
Mr. Noy, I have one question. On the 89% revenue, are we on track or do we still need?
Usually, this is more or less where we're at this time.
Okay. But we could expect more revenue by the end of the year?
We don't have that much more, right, Cindy, the next 2 months?
Taxes collected January to some of October. Bulk of it is collected.
Okay.
The next one is the sales tax report for August 31st. At this month, this year, we collected 279,119.02. At this time last year, we collected 287,587.67, a net change of minus 2.94%. For the year, we are minus 11.01% below.
Okay. And I know these numbers sound really bad. And as far as our wishes, they do. But we, in our budget, we never budget 100%. We usually, on this one, we budget 93%. 93%. So what we would like and what's in our budget are two different things. So we're going to hit our mark. It looks very promising that we'll hit our mark on these revenues based on the 93% that we pace in our budget. Can I entertain a motion?
I make a motion to approve the
Second.
auditor's report.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 19, discuss, consider, and take action to approve county treasurer's report and other monthly reports.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 20, discuss, consider, and take action on payroll and bills as submitted by the county auditors with the exception of Fund 52, 53, and 54.
Second.
I have a motion, have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And now we're back to what a lot of people are here for. Thank you so much for waiting. We appreciate you guys. Not that I know of.
We're gonna do the swearing in right now? Okay, can I have these folks come?
Morning, sir. How you doing?
Wait a minute.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It's just this and then.
Chairs over here.
You gentlemen?
Mike, Bond,
We gotta do the, first we gotta change the date. Okay. And then the swearing in, and then the bond. Remember when we voted last week, it was gonna be on the third?
yes, sir.
There's a chair back there. Your mom just. Okay, right there was just.
Got one chair over here, guys.
Rachel. Rachel.
We have 3 more chairs up here.
There's some chairs up here. Anybody wants to sit down?
Thank y'all very much. We're happy to invite everybody here for this glorious and joyous event. And we will go on to agenda item number 8. Discuss, consider, and take actions to change the effective date of appointment from Romualdo Solis Jr. to the vacant position of Judge of the Jim Wells County Court at Law from September 30th, 2024 to September 27th, 2024. And the administration of oath of the office of Romualdo S. Solis Jr. and execute the official bond and other required documents. So for this agenda item, originally, we're supposed to have court on the 30th, which is Monday, but we moved it to today. So we need to approve this today and then administer the oath. So we administered the oath before, or?
No, let's change the date, since the last action you took set the date as September 30th. So in order to do it today, the first vote has to be to change that date. And then that authorizes the judge to go ahead and administer the oath.
Okay, can I entertain a motion?
I make a motion to change the date to September 27th, 2024.
I have a motion, have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and I'm an aye on that one too. Judge?
First and foremost, I'd like to, on behalf of Judge Solis, I'd like to welcome everyone that is here, distinguished members of our community, elected officials, family, and friends from all over. Beautiful sight to see this courtroom full, and for this momentous occasion, swearing in our second ever Jim Wells County Court at Law judge. It was such an honor and a humbling experience on Tuesday when Judge Solis called me to ask if I would do this for him this morning. Judge Solis and I go back, last month was 23 years since we first met during orientation in law school. And, you know, he was from San Benito, I'm from Alice, and how our paths ended up both in this courtroom today. I don't know how that happened, but it's such an honor to be here, and we are lucky to have him part of our community, not only in the judicial arena, but also in the philanthropy and also nonprofit organizations. He's always out there helping everyone, as you know. And it's quite an exciting time for Jim Wells County. It's going to be a exciting time for Judge Solis, a time for him to learn, and he's going to do a great job, and it's going to be quite an experience for him. So that being said, I would like for Judge Solis to raise his right hand repeat after me. I, Romualdo Rumi Solis Jr.,
I, Romano Rumi Solis Jr.,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of County Court at Law Judge
of County Court at Law Judge
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
One more. Raise your right hand again. Repeat after me. I, Romualdo Rumi Solis Jr.,
I, Romano Rumi Solis Jr.,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
offered,
offered,
promised to pay,
promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
or promised to
or
contribute
promised to contribute
any money
any money
or thing of value,
or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
for the giving or withholding
for the giving or withholding
of a vote
of a vote
at the election
at the election
at which I was elected,
at which I was elected,
or as a reward
or as a reward
to secure my appointment or confirmation.
to secure my appointment or confirmation,
Whichever the case may be, so help me God.
whichever the case may be, so help me God. I do. And I'll keep this short. I just want to thank everybody for being here. I will say everybody who's here is responsible for me being up here talking to you today, being your judge. And I want to thank everybody for your support. Everybody who came from out of town, from whether you be San Benito, Harlingen, Duval County. Thank you all for coming out here and supporting me. Everybody who's here, I mean it. You all are the ones that put me here. So thank you all very much.
We have one more item, and that is item number 10, discuss and consider, take action to approve the official bond for Romualdo Solis Jr. for the office of Judge of the Jim Wells County Court at Law.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and I'm an aye on that one too. Welcome to Jim Wells County.
Thank you.
We're very eager to get started and start working together and start taking care of business.
Yes, sir.
And I hear you got a docket on Monday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Rest this weekend.
100%, that's what we do here in Jim Wells.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Thank you all again. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a
Second.
motion, and I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all very much. Appreciate you guys. Set a break.